YouTube, how's it going? The Goat House is back, and today we're counting down the top 10 biggest steals from the 2021 NFL Draft, in my opinion. Really excited about this one. More videos just like this on the way. A bunch of post-draft videos already on the channel. Grades for every first-round pick, grades for every draft class, winners, losers, different videos like that. They're on the channel. Check them out. More to come. Schedule release right around the corner. We're going to break all the schedules down. We're going to predict records. We're going to have season predictions. Really excited about it all. Content never stops here at the Goat House. Subscribe, smash that like button, follow our Twitter. Fan voted grades, draft grades going on that Twitter right now. So make sure you get in there. That'll be turned into a video as well. So check that out. Any link that you need will be down in the comments and description. Here are the grades. Yeah, they're kind of separated by division. So if you click on one here, they're all there. Not too much time left on those, so check them out. But to the number 10. Biggest steal of the draft, in my opinion, Marlon Tuipulotu, the USC defensive lineman going to the Eagles in round 6, pick 189 here. That's a deep steal down there. I had a round 3 grade on him. I thought he could have went in round 4 as a possibility. What I like about, he wasn't super flashy, obviously. If you go and watch him, not super flashy, but I think this is a new school type of nose tackle the Eagles got here, A lot, the nose tackle position, I guess we should say the prospects of the nose tackle position are, the values kind of going down for the most part. Why? Because they're not really involved in rushing the passer. And today, it seems like the nose tackles are guys that can move around a bit, play nose, play shade off the center, play over the guard, maybe a shade off the guard, like a 3 technique. And they can actually get after the quarterback. And to me, that's Tuipulotu here. He played nose. He played D tackle. He's athletic enough, in my opinion. Not super athletic, obviously. He was, pretty disruptive this year as well, even without his, partner in crime there in Jay Tufele there at USC, because he opted out. Tuipulotu played. So I thought he could have went anywhere in that 3-4 range. 5 wouldn't really surprise me. But once you get down here at pick 189 in round 6, I think the Eagles get a steal, and I think they got that versatile nose tackle. They got Hargrave, who's strictly a nose tackle. They got, stud like Fletcher Cox, some guys that can play D tackle, move around a little bit. Now you kind of get something you don't have, really, in my opinion. So I like that one. Number 9 on the biggest steals list, the Lions. So back-to-back USC Trojans. Look at that. AMON-RA St. Brown, round 4. Pick 112. I thought he could have went in the second round. Wouldn't really surprise me in the third. Wouldn't have been a giant steal maybe in the third. Started to get down here at pick 112 in the 4th round. It's pretty ridiculous in my opinion. A lot of receivers end up being kind of risky picks these days because some of them just can't figure out, routes or coverages in the NFL. I think AMON-RA St. Brown is a safe prospect. Do-it-all guy, strong, tough guy, wants to block, runs after the catch, tries to run people over. Strong hands, gets open, good in contested catches. I always bring it up. This past year, we'll kind of go back to 2019. He played mainly in the slot with some good reps outside, while Michael Pittman was the opposite. Michael Pittman played outside with some reps in the slot. Now that they were equally as dominant, there was times where I thought, St. Brown actually looked better. Michael Pittman's already, tearing it up in 1 year in the NFL. So that looks good. And then without Michael Pittman, AMON-RA St. Brown plays more of the outside role with some reps in the slot, and he plays well. So you see the versatility as a receiver. So that's fantastic. Those guys seem to be safer picks on top of all the other traits that he has being safe. So this is fantastic. It was interesting, too, the Lions draft because, they're okay. They got a pick. They got a good pick. They got another good pick. They got another good pick. But they didn't get that receiver they really need yet. So kind of like, man, these are such good picks. Where's that receiver? And all of a sudden they get a great pick again, and it's this receiver that can help them, right away here. So I thought it was kind of perfect timing for them. So I like that a lot. We had back-to-back USC Trojans. Now we're going back-to-back Detroit Lions here. They grabbed Derek Barnes, round 4, pick 113, and this is number 8 on my list. This was my number 5 linebacker in a class. This was one of my guys. I love this guy's game. So much upside here with him because he was a defensive end in the past. Pretty good one, too. Turned to off-the-ball linebacker and looked like a natural pretty much right off the bat. Downhill guy, filling gaps, stopping the run, blows through the ball carrier as he brings him down. Pretty good in coverage. And, look at the Senior Bowl, one-on-ones, he actually looked pretty good. At one-on-ones, the offensive player, whether it's receiver, tight end, running back, they're supposed to win. They're really supposed to win every time. People don't realize how hard it is for defenders and one-on-one. So I think he can, we know he can improve because he's barely been at the position. And I think he's kind of shown that. And the Lions kind of needed a guy like this. They got some young linebackers that can play, but, getting a guy like this with this much upside, this much motor, I love that. And, pick 113, I had a second-round grade on him. So just another big-time pick. They picked those guys back-to-back, too. So big-time picks here for the Detroit Lions. Just unbelievable draft they had. Number 7 on the biggest steals list of 2021. Going Kylan Hill. We're going deep, but it shouldn't have been this deep. 256. For the Green Bay Packers. This is real deep here. I love Kylan Hill's game. This is going back 2019, he looked like we thought he would declare. Looked like a second-round pick, maybe a third-round pick at the latest. Probably around there, based on the feedback he got that probably made him go back. We'll say third-round pick. But he was a tough runner. And then people were kind of saying maybe he's lacking catching the ball, the receiving part of the game, what everyone's looking for. But you kind of get the feeling he can do it. So you go into this year, Mike Leach is the coach. And they got him going. He only played a few games. I think that was the problem here. I think it kind of looks like he quit on his team. Those guys that opted out before even playing, for some reason they didn't get penalized in a way for this. But I guess Kylan Hill did maybe. But there was a game against LSU where they really this is the matter of getting him the ball in the air, through the air. And he was tearing it up. I talked about in the past. It looked kind of Kamara-ish. Is he Alvin Kamara? Is he going to be Alvin Kamara? No, but it's got some similarities there, I guess, for a poor man's Kamara, I suppose. So I think it's just a matter of getting him the ball in the receiving game. He's a strong runner. He'll run through you. He'll jump over you. He'll run past you, too. 4'5" guy with that much, strength to him, build to him. I guess one thing I didn't like was his inconsistency on, I suppose, the vision. He can see the hole and hit the hole. He's a guy that wants contact for the most part. Sometimes he'll pass up a lane that would probably get him a touchdown to try to run somebody over or jump over somebody, and sometimes it works out, but it's not always going to work out in the NFL. So I guess that's the knock on him, and then he kind of exited early this year. But this is a hell of a running back. I was kind of calling him maybe he could be the James Robinson this year when it looked like he was going to go undrafted because James Robinson was undrafted and ended up being a 1,000-yard rusher. Hill doesn't go undrafted, but he ends up being very late. But, yeah, the problem is he goes to the Packers where we know he's behind Aaron Jones. He's probably behind A.J. Dillon. But, yeah, this could be like an Aaron Jones type back, this feels like a pick if they lost, and maybe not really in the 7th, but if they lost Aaron Jones, and it could be Dillon in Kylan Hill here, So I really want him to see him play. Honestly, but it might be tough because the Packers got a pretty good room there, but I think that's an epic steal right there. Number 6 on the list is going to be a Tennessee Volunteer, Trey Smith, an obvious one, going to the Kansas City Chiefs, round 6, pick 226, pretty deep down there. Maybe it's not all that surprising because he did have health concerns in the past few years ago, blood clots, and for me, even though it's not super shocking, he dropped because of that, just because that's kind of stuck with him. That was years ago, and it's not like an injury that keeps coming back. He's been cleared to go. He's been cleared to play. He's been on the field playing. So, yeah, that was a little surprising. I think he fits what the Chiefs trying to do, in terms of their blocking scheme. He's a very dominant run blocker. Pass protection, he's solid. I think he could move, lateral movement could be a little quicker. He kind of wants to stay in one spot a little bit. If we had a nitpick here, but yeah, just trying to find reasons on why he dropped this far because he didn't belong anywhere down here. I had a 3rd round grade on him, and I even thought one of those guys that I thought could have gone in the 2nd. I wouldn't really had a problem with it. If somebody takes him late 2nd, Chiefs ended up getting him in round 6. Great value. I like him on the Chiefs as well. That's a big time pick. Number 5 on the list. Go Ronnie Perkins, Patriots. Add the Oklahoma Sooners pass rusher here. Round 3, pick 96. I had a firm 2nd round grade on it. Well, not really a firm, but I had a 2nd round grade on him with no later than that. I thought if somebody would have taken him late 1st, I would have been okay with it because I really like Ronnie Perkins' tape. High motor guy, strong pass rusher, can drop in coverage if you need him to. was very disruptive. You watch the tape, you feel like he had more production than he did. That's really a good thing in my eyes. Some people ran to the stats and see, he's maybe a little underwhelming. I think he's going to be more productive at the NFL level. We'll see how much he gets on the field right away, but I think it's a good spot for him with the Patriots. Pretty good room there. Pretty good room. But yeah, get him 96 pick. A guy that I would have been okay with taking late first. This is a steal / value on top of getting an impact. I kind of favor the steals that are the higher guy, the guys that could have went first. The impact players as well. So this is a big time pickup for the Patriots. Patriots did a good job as well. Number 4 is going to be De'Ami Brown, Washington football team picking him up. You see round 3, pick 82. Another guy that I would have been okay with taking late first. Why? Because this guy's got big play ability. He's proven he's a great athlete. He can track the ball. He can go up and catch it. I think the knock on him, why he fell so far, which I guess it wasn't super shocking that he started to fall a little bit, because he ran about 3 routes. He didn't really have too many routes under his belt. Big route tree wasn't there. But you kind of can see some guys that really can't develop more. I think it's usually because of the footwork, or maybe they just can't figure out coverages or the speed. De'Ami Brown, I think, has all those things. He's very twitchy. He torched corners off the line where they can't even get a hand on him. Teams would know he was going deep. They would play way off at times, and they would know it's coming, and they still really couldn't beat him. So I think he's a phenomenal athlete and receiver here, and that's a steal there. Again, I didn't really expect him to go late 1, but I wouldn't have had a problem if somebody took him late 1, because I think you were getting a phenomenal receiver here. So I was surprised he dropped all the way to pick 82. It could be another Terry McLaurin, maybe a little more downfield action, for the Washington football team. So they're loading up that receiver group right there. It's looking pretty good. It's a fantastic value and impact there. Right on the big top 3. Number 3 is going to be Azeez Ojulari in the second round of the Giants. This was my number 2 pass rusher in the class. And kind of looking at the Giants, who fits, trying to make a ranking system for them. I think it would he could have been number 1. He could have been number 1 for them. Maybe we'll say Phillips, but they probably would have stayed put and taken Phillips if he was the number 1 guy, in the first round. So it might have been Azeez Ojulari that was number 1 on the Giants pass rush board, edge rush board. They get him at pick 50. And this was a first round lock to me. We started to hear that he had some knee injury concerns, and then you start to feel he can drop. But I really didn't think he was going to drop out of the first round still. Because he played he played 2 full years, with Georgia, without a problem. Maybe they examine the knees, and maybe, I don't know how that works exactly. It doesn't look good inside the knee, maybe, and it doesn't look like it'll hold up. So I guess that's a little concerning, but I don't know if the Giants would have taken him if that was the case. He played a full season last year and was fantastic. And again, I think he fits. Not only do I think he fits the Giants, this is the Giants' best pass rusher. I don't really care what anybody says. They got another Georgia Bulldog, Lorenzo Carter, that can step it up, but I think Ojulari is their best pure pass rusher edge rusher, because Leonard Williams is probably their best pass rusher, even though he's not an edge rusher. So I should say edge rusher. Outside linebacker in their 3-4 scheme is an edge rusher. So that's a fantastic pick. It's a big-time impact pick at the same time. Out of the top 2, I actually made a change with my 1 and 2. They're so close, and these are just elite steals and impact players. Jeremiah OWUSU-KORAMOAH, I got at number 2. It was number 1. The reason that's was a difference. We'll talk about number 1, but this is an elite 8+ pick steal. What epic steal, whatever you want to call it here. Number 14 on my board. Fits the Browns perfectly because they could use an outside linebacker with speed and coverage ability. And they got that here. We hear that. It's every time I was making a mock draft, I think I mentioned JOK being a tough guy to mock because he only fits a handful of teams. That is a big reason why he dropped. The teams like the Browns know they can wait because they don't fear. The other teams aren't really a threat. And now it's coming out that he had some sort of heart issue. It doesn't really seem like a problem, but so I guess there's some reasons on why he dropped. It is still A+ value. A crazy steal here and a great fit, a great impact player. This made the Browns defense that much better. We see round 2 picks succeeding more than round 1 picks, and this is a prime example right here. We'll see it in action, but it's a prime example because he had top tier talent all day. Everyone knew about it, So maybe there are reasons why he slid, I suppose, but this is a ridiculous steal. And then number 1 for me is going to be the Jets getting Elijah Moore, round 2, pick 34. So early round 2, but this was my receiver 4 for a very long time in the class. There was really no question to me, even though Bateman was my number 5, and I love Bateman, great player, but it was really no question to me because he's a total package receiver, dominates the slot, so good after the catch. I mean, this is a big play waiting to happen every single time. It's a pass play. Every single. I mean, you can get him a screen end around as well. Any single rep here, it's a big play waiting to happen. I think it's so perfect with Zach Wilson as well. They're going to get a lot of production going. A lot of impact players are going to scheme things up for him, and he just wasn't supposed to be there. I had him receiver 4. I had him the whole way in the middle of the first round. And then we talked about where other people had him, where it was sounding like he was going to go for most of the offseason. It was kind of the back end of the first, but then all of a sudden that last week you start to hear that most of the teams have him as receiver 4. There was a quote out there that said they don't know of a team that doesn't have him receiver 4. Now, there was teams that existed because the Giants took Tony and the Ravens took Bateman, but majority of teams had him receiver 4. It sounds like a fact. It's just those teams picked something else in the first round. Maybe some of those teams took one of the top 3 receivers in the first round. So it was really sounding like he was actually going to go where I had him projected for a long time, in the middle of the first, and he slipped through. And most of those teams only pick once. Some teams only don't pick again. I guess the Jets picked twice, but in the first, so a lot of teams still have first round players there, and I guess that's why he slipped through. But that's just I just didn't think there was any way at that point that he was going in the second round, and maybe receiver wasn't the biggest need next for the Jets, but it was just too damn good to pass on, and that's why it's another reason why it's a fantastic pick there. So I thought that was a dominant steal here. We're going to see it on the field this year as well. Jets got a sneaky good receiver unit for Zach Wilson there. They're putting the offensive line together. It's going to be a fun team to watch right off the bat for a long time. The AFC East is looking deadly now, really. So really excited about all these teams with these steals, to see these guys in action. Hopefully some of them might not get a shot right away, but we'll see. We're going to do similar videos to this. We got some videos like, post-draft videos already on the channel, so check those out. Be much appreciated. Smash the like button, subscribe, follow us on Twitter at GoDowsNFL. A lot going on there as well, but yeah, that's going to do it for this one. Thanks everyone for watching. Goodbye.